Good morning, guys. Welcome back to day 2 of working on the John Deere Zero Turn. I went ahead and pulled the tires off. There's 4 lugs. Impact made it real easy. Anyway, pulled the tires off here so I can get better access to the pumps, which I'm not sure how well you can see that, but there's this little thingy right here. Let me get a flashlight. Maybe you guys can see a little better. Alright. See that little thing right there? That's the filter. That's where the filter goes in. And there's one on this side and there's one on the other side. And it just makes it so much easier to get up in there without the tires on this thing. And I'll be able to clean it out a little better with them off anyway. So, there's the pump. This is a Parker serial number, who's he, what's it, who cares? Anyway, this is what drives each wheel. And they use hydraulic fluid to control them. And so I got this one on this side, and then I got another one over here. That's what it looks like originally. I already cleaned the other side, but I got all the grass and junk out of it, so I'm gonna keep going and get these transmissions drained out, and we will go from there. Okay, so I got the 2 pumps that I got to drain. There's the filter on the front of them here that acts as the drain plug. And these are our filters right here. Alright, so these are our filters. There's 2 of them because they're independent pumps, right? So that's your filter, and it screws into the bottom of the transmission with these threads here, and that's the part that comes out of the bottom, so you got a socket there or something you got to put on to unscrew it, and this acts as the drain plug. So go ahead and get these here transmissions or pumps, or pick your term, it doesn't really matter, they're interchangeable. Go ahead and get them started to be drained. I don't know if I'll be able to use this 1/2-inch socket. It might be bigger than 1/2 inch, but I'll give it a shot. Let's see here. Yep, bigger than 1/2 inch. So, come over here. Leave that there. My hands are really cold. I need to get my gloves on. I had my heater out here for a while, kind of preheating the garage, and for whatever reason it turned off. And I didn't pop a breaker, didn't turn off because of the thermostat or nothing, it just turned off, so I don't know. Anyway, let's see here. It's probably this guy. Yep, that'll do it. So it's 5/8 on that filter. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get you all set up here, get my gloves on so I can stay kind of warm, and we'll start draining these pumps out. Okay, hopefully you guys can see the pump. Oh, probably got a better view than I got. I'll say that. It's interesting how these transmissions don't have drain plugs. But I didn't design them, so this works just as well, I suppose. There we go. We got our bucket lined up here, and this is probably going to get pretty messy. You can feel the oil coming. There we go. Wow, this stuff is cold. Alright, well there's one drained. The other one is the exact same procedure. Hopefully you guys were able to see that. I'm going to drop this filter down in here, I'll fish it out later. Ugh. Go ahead and get our breather cap on the top of the pump here unscrewed. I need to get a rag too. Let that drain. you guys go. There's that pump draining out there, and the filter, I just kind of tossed it in the oil. I'll fish it out later. Anyway, there was a dealer that serviced this thing for this this guy. It was not a John Deere dealership. Why it went there, I don't really know. It's not my machine, so I don't really have much of a say. I'm servicing it now, so that's good. However, I'm not sure if this place used the correct oil in the transmissions. Which this stuff kind of, I don't really know. It might be, it might not be. Because these transmissions use this stuff, which is John Deere High Guard. Typically, the newer hydrostatics and the compact utility tractors and the zero turns use low viscosity High Guard because it can flow a little easier. Anyway, the gear tractors usually take this type of fluid. It's a little more thick and it does a little better. I think there's about a quart, 2 quarts or so in each transmission, but the smallest that we sell these is in the gallon jugs. So I went ahead and got 2 gallons just in case. Customer will have extra now. Anywho, let that continue to drain. Going to get the other one drained out, and then we'll go ahead and add our fluid back into the transmissions to get them working good. Something else, guys, I wanted to mention is that on these new filters, unlike a traditional spin-on filter, there's no gasket on the bottom here. And these do have these O-rings here, and because this is a brand new filter, I'm just going to rub a little bit of hydraulic oil on these O-rings just so that they can seat properly. So I'm going to use the new stuff because I don't know what kind of contamination is in here. If I knew there was High Guard in here and there was High Guard going back in and this stuff wasn't all that bad. Actually, you know, if you're changing transmission fluid, here, I'll let y'all look at me. If you're changing transmission fluid, there's these transmissions and these hydro pumps and everything, they do spit out a little bit of metal. That's very normal. So you guys have seen me doing oil changes where I will dip my finger in the old oil to just lubricate the filter because it really doesn't matter. But with these transmissions, you don't want to contaminate this stuff. You want to use fresh fluid. So I'll be using a little finger dip out of the new High Guard to lubricate these O-rings. I did want to mention that to you guys. I'm not sticking it in there dry, you know what I mean? Little tech tip. So with doing transmissions, you got to be a little more diligent with the fluids because they're extremely critical to it operating properly. So, all right, let's go ahead and get this thing installed. Okay, tune's going now. You might hear them in the background. Let's see here. Alright, so get this filter seated here. But nice and slow because you don't want them O-rings to twist weird, you know what I'm saying? That's where the oil comes in to help. Let's see here. A little more. Where is it? Where is it, guys? You tell me where it is? There it is. Y'all hopefully got a better view than I do. Alright, that's seated. Very good. Okay, so there's the new filter installed right there. I'll double check it. Down there's the old filter, and I'm gonna drain and change the other filter just so that'll be done. Then we'll go and start adding fluid. Okay, guys, you see this little doodad right here? This is that sight glass that I was talking about in the front of the transmission. Now, because, as you guys saw before, this here sight glass, you know, you have to look down in there to see when the level comes up, and there's no other breather on the trans or the pump here in order for the air to escape to get the fluid down in there through this teeny tiny little hole. So what I did, this pump is full, by the way, what I did is I pulled the breather out of it and basically filled it like a differential, where you take the, you basically fill it up till it runs out. Because that's basically where you want it, is right till it runs out. So that's what I did. This is the sight glass for this pump. Over here, it screws in. Let's see if you guys can see it. Right there, where it screws in. And then this cap unscrews, they're just finger tight. This cap unscrews up top here. We'll go ahead and set that over there. It's very important. I have cleaned this already, as you can see, but it's very important when you go to take these off for the first time in a while that you take an air compressor or something and blow this off or clean it somehow, because when you take it off, you don't want dirt getting down into your pump. That'll destroy a pump. And I priced these things out. List price from Deere is $980 for one of these pumps. Now that's here, it's all down here, and it's all the way down to this part here. So it's a pretty stout unit. And they're Parker, so they're really good pumps. But you don't want to replace one of these things. So just clean it out, you know. And that way you'll keep the longevity of it up. Anyway, I'm going to see if I can start it up in the garage and run it just like this to get it to cycle the pumps, so I can then check the fluid without having to get the wheels and stuff back on. But time will tell. I may have to sit on the seat because of the seat switch here, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, guys, that's what I'm doing. I did remove the sight glass from the side. It's just a screw-in little plug, and I'm basically filling it till it runs out, because the manual, for whatever stupid reason, does not give a precise amount of fluid that has to go in each one of these pumps. Okay, guys, here's what we got. I got these two can jacks holding up the back of this thing, but I lowered them down onto these blocks. So now I've got some weight on here, and I've got some weight on here, and these have got weight across the entire block. Because I'm going to be sitting on this thing with no wheels on it. Last thing I want it to do is shift off these little can jacks and off of the thing and drop, you know what I'm saying? So the blocks are kind of extra insurance. So this thing is rock solid. It ain't going nowhere. It's kind of leaning back a little bit, so I'm not really too concerned about it rolling. So we're going to go ahead and open the door up here and start this bad boy up and see what goodness we can get out of these pumps. Everything looks good, so let's go ahead and get this bad boy fired up. Go ahead and fire this bad boy up. They were making that noise yesterday too before I put fluid in them. So anyway, guys, so they work, obviously. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drop my snow shovel like that. This up on the box. Anyway, what I'm going to go ahead and do is check the fluid, get the tires put back on this thing, take it for a spin, make sure everything feels and works good. I was very happy with the movement of these things. That seemed pretty good. Then the next and last thing I need to do to this thing is get under the deck and clean it out and sharpen the blades. So that'll be lifting up the front of the mower. That'll be the next and final thing, and then hopefully it'll warm up in it tomorrow, and I can get her a good bath. I'm really hoping. I really need to power wash this thing, but hopefully it'll warm up enough to justify me being able to do that. Anywho, pumps are good, oil is changed, just got to top them off. I don't see any leaks, so that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Getting those sight glasses out was really a bonus. So anyway, guys, alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get the tires back on this thing, which I'm using the Impact. You got 4 bolts, 4 lugs per tire, which is nice. We'll go ahead and do that, and get cracking on the mower deck, shall we? There you go. Tires are on. Okay guys, so she's running good. So I can take you guys for a little bit of a spin. I think the pumps are starting to stop making noise, which is good. So, just this little bit of time driving around, this thing has really become a different mower, what it feels like to me. The pump has stopped making noise, I guess because it's warmed up now and everything. Driving around one hand here is always kind of fun. Anyway, the controls are so much smoother. The John Deere fluids, especially transmission and hydraulic fluid, that's really what you want in these John Deere machines. The controls feel so much smoother than they did when I first got this thing. So that's that. Transmissions are good. Engine is good. I did that part yesterday. But I'm gonna go ahead and get these mower deck serviced and get the front casters greased. And I think we're just about done. Probably keep this thing overnight one more time to see if it warms up tomorrow. If it gets any warmer tomorrow, then I will try to give this thing a bath. It probably could use one, not dire, but it probably could. I did blow it off, which is a critical part, so it's relatively clean. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get this deck serviced, and not gonna do a whole lot of detail stuff because you guys have seen me service decks before, I think. Anyway, that's the deal. The transmissions feel so much better. I'm so much happier with the John Deere fluid in there, so I guess on to the next step, right?